once again with the Shouts Out podcast. Dan, how you doing?
I'm very good. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Our guest today hails from the great nation of France,
Bonjour.
Mr. Alexis, aka Patrons. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Happy to be here. Thanks for
Thank
having
you.
me.
Thank you for having. Yeah,
Thanks
this
for
is
coming
great,
on.
man. Did I say the like alias correctly there? It's Patrons.
Yeah, that's Patronus.
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 Yeah.
Very cool name. I love that. I love that. We'll
They
talk
use a
about it.
V, so it's weird to pronounce, but yeah.
Yeah, Patronus. Where'd that come from?
So basically, it comes from the roots of my name
Oh, okay.
because I don't know which way it is, but I think in Latin, Patronus means defender, and in Greek,
Oh,
defender translates to Patronus.
oh, that's cool.
Hmm.
Basically, yeah, the roots of all these languages lead to
Yeah.
my name, which is Alexis, lead all the way to Patronus.
Oh, man, good to know that.
I like
Cool. You
that.
are the defender.
But a lot of people think it's from Harry Potter,
Oh,
obviously. But it's got no relation to it. I like Harry Potter, but it's
I
not,
didn't
you
make that
know.
link actually.
Yeah.
You'd be pleased to hear. Oh, it's good to have you on, man. We want to talk about your music because your music is like way different to any of the stuff that the guests that we've had
Yeah.
on is like.
Well,
How would you?
how
Yeah.
would you describe your sound? We were saying earlier, it's really easy to like classify indie band, rock band. Like, how would you describe your sound? Like, is there a name for the genre, or is it lots of different genres in one?
So I'd say I produce hard techno.
Hmm.
Nice.
So it's a subgenre of techno, but I lean more towards making it melodic rather than just rhythms and with
Mm.
drums.
Yeah.
And there's loads of subgenres in even techno because hard techno is hardcore techno.
Mm.
Listening to hardcore, but I'm not in that route yet. So
Hmm.
I'd say
Well,
yeah, my genre is hard techno and
yeah, yeah, it's
yeah.
pretty. It feels pretty hard when you listen to it. It does go
Yeah.
hard. I don't know, Dan. If you listen to some of his
I was
music,
listening to it, yeah, and I was listening to it
yeah,
again this morning.
we would play his tunes at like
Yeah.
4 in the morning at the speaker at our uni house, and it was just like
Yeah, it's what
it was
it's
just
meant
that
for.
kind of music that you cannot stand still to.
Yeah, it's for that time of the
Big
night.
kicks and everything, and your music is it's so cool to hear. And we've got your new track as well, which we'll talk about later. But first, I want to like kind of get into your head and figure out where did this all start? Where did this techno infatuation come from you?
So it's a funny story because it started as I was just watching TV when I was 16 years old,
Really?
and a car ad comes up for a Citroën car, and the background, the music that was playing was Gesaffelstein.
Oh, okay, yeah, I know
Yeah.
that.
And so I Shazammed the music. I saw it was Gesaffelstein, who did
Yeah,
the music for the ad. And then I just delved into all of his catalog in like a week.
yeah.
And at that time I'd been producing for 2 years,
Okay,
and discovering that artist sent me on the techno route. And
yeah. So, what
from
kind of
then I
stuff
did
were you
studies.
making before you discovered Geschäftsstellen?
So before that, I was just a EDM
Yeah,
fan, from when I
yeah,
was 12 years old.
Hmm.
For like
yeah,
4 or 6 years, I was listening to guys like Hardwell, Armin van Buuren, Martin Garrix, all that stuff,
yeah.
Relax,
Cool.
like a lot of us did
Yeah, we
back
were.
in the
Yeah,
days. But yeah, I went on to the techno route in 2018,
yeah.
it was. And from then I did studies
Mm.
in music, and then I started to produce my own tracks and get pretty
Right.
good at it. And my first
After
one came out in 2020.
Yeah,
Nice.
wicked. After hearing your like hard techno, I can't even imagine you making just like EDM music now. Like hearing how hard
Yeah,
you can go,
yeah.
like
You have
you
to
like
start
being
somewhere.
held back, and that Citroen advert is really what you
Yeah.
needed to be like that. I'm gonna just go harder with
That's
it.
crazy that a car
Yeah,
advert is the reason you're making the music you are.
that's
Yeah,
incredible.
yeah. Thanks to Citroën. Yeah.
Shout out.
Ah,
Out to them.
the first shout out. We'll have him
Exactly.
on soon. We'll have him on soon. Don't worry.
Yeah.
It's all good.
CEO of Citroen.
DC cars.
Yeah.
So you started making techno in 2018,
Yeah.
and then your first single was out in 21, was it? That was
2020.
only for yourself. I butchered the name of that, isn't it?
No, actually it was on so it was during COVID, so in 2020.
Okay.
And during that time, the industry was not making a lot of money because not a lot of events were happening.
Hmm.
course, because that's a
And
massive part of like this whole genre and like the greater genres that they all
yeah,
feed into
Club
is like
nights.
it's club music, it's rave music.
exactly.
You play it to go and hear it live, really, don't you?
Yeah, if they can't play,
Mm.
streams and selling on Bandcamp and places like that, it's not enough. So
Sounds like you chose an excellent time to get into
Yeah,
yeah,
good time.
absolutely. But I mean, I got lucky because that's why at that time, some companies and labels were trying to find ways to make money.
Mm.
And so they were organizing, so it was a institution called the Rave School in
Mm. Yeah,
Brussels in Belgium,
yeah.
who organized online masterclasses for producers to get feedback, learn about production, mixing, mastering, all that
Mm.
stuff. And so I took part in one of these master classes, and at the end, it was a feedback session. I sent my track, and the host DJ listened to my track and really liked it, and said that it could be released on the compilation from the label they had
That's,
just launched.
that must have felt
Nice.
really good.
That felt really good. It was like one of the first professional feedbacks I got,
Yeah.
and it led to
'Cause
that.
that was really early on in your like career there. That was like basically before you even started. You've
Yeah,
already
we were at uni when that happened,
yeah, yeah,
Oh,
so
right.
in the middle of
it was just
COVID.
blossoming. And
Yeah, that's cool. So what was that DJ's name? Do you know? Have you got his
Eccentric,
Eccentric? Shout out to
Shout
Eccentric
out.
for
out to Eccentric,
discovering this gem.
and Rave Alert, the label that,
Yeah,
yeah, it was
brave alert.
posted on.
That's cool, man. And then it kind of just like from there you got your confidence and you just like kept on going,
Yeah,
more and more tracks.
yeah. I mean, it was quite early on because I was in those years where you're still experimenting, you're
Yeah.
still,
Mm.
getting onto
Yeah.
the DAW, producing, learning about structures, arrangements, and all that. That deep into the sound design route, and then I got the release to happen, and I was like not even that ready to start releasing tracks because once you start releasing, you want to have some regularity.
Yeah.
Mm.
And so
Totally.
that's why the next one was the following year
Mm.
on a different label, and then it started to pick up the pace right now. But
Yeah, it
when you
has. It
release too
has.
early, you're facing that issue of
Yeah.
now I have to release more because people are expecting releases all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. You want to get build up, spend energy and time releasing a song, getting the momentum, and
Yeah,
then it just completely drops and you've got to build it all up again. You kind of want it to.
exactly.
Is
So,
it is it all you mentioned like different streaming platforms? Is it not Spotify that's the main place to get discovered for this kind of music rights? What are the other streaming platforms that you put your music on?
So actually, for techno and even bass music and more underground genres of electronic music, it's more on SoundCloud that you get
Okay.
found out because the algorithm is so much easier to travel through
Hmm.
okay.
because you'll like a track and they'll make a playlist with 50, 30 tracks based on that one track you liked.
Hmm.
Oh,
So if
yeah.
you've liked 500
Mm.
tracks, you have 500 sub playlists to
That's
get
cool.
discovered on.
Yeah.
And that's the
Mm.
thing. If I compare my streams on SoundCloud compared to Spotify and Apple Music, I get 10 times more streams,
Is it that
if not
much?
20 times on SoundCloud
Wow.
than on Spotify.
Really?
Yeah, it's really weird for these kinds of music
Wow.
Are they
because,
more engaged listeners as well? Like, do they transfer over to social media as well?
yeah, well, because you had that whole SoundCloud rap era
Yeah.
from 2014 till 2018. And it's been kind of the same with electronic music where you'll get discovered there and then you'll move on to, social media to build an audience and get known. But it's really, yeah. I mean, Bandcamp is also a good platform
Hmm.
for electronic music
Oh
to
yeah.
dig for tracks or get discovered in that regard.
Mm.
But I'd say, yeah, platforms like Spotify and Apple Music and even Deezer, they're more mainstream oriented. You can
Hmm.
still post your tracks there, but you won't
Yeah.
get much revenues because of
Yeah.
how much music there already is there.
Mm. What are the kind of do you have like strategies or like overall like thoughts about how you do build your audience and build your fan base for your music?
I mean, to be fair, I'm not yet really in that
Mm.
whole, getting onto social media, posting every week,
Yeah,
creating reels and
it's a
stuff.
grind,
Mm.
isn't
Yeah, it's a big grind,
it?
and that's the thing.
It's a full-time
I'm more
job.
focused on
Mm.
composing the music, getting
Yeah,
some tracks released on professional labels,
yeah,
and slowly getting there. But I'm, posting, promoting, doing some
yeah.
pictures and a couple of posts per track. But
because your artwork is really cool. Do you do the
Yeah.
artwork?
That's not me. That's the
No.
labels.
Oh, it's the labels. Because
Yeah,
yeah, the
yeah,
artwork, your Instagram looks beautiful.
And the
I don't know if
visuals
you've
on
seen.
Spotify as well. The one like your
Yeah,
most
it's
recent
so
track,
cool.
like I was listening
It's
to that,
so
and the visuals
cool.
behind it are cool.
Yeah.
yeah. That was also the label.
That's
Yeah,
not.
it's
Yeah,
incredible. That's so cool. So let's talk about more about the labels because as an indie band in the UK, like the idea of getting signed to a label is just like
That's
it's
like
the
the
holy
pinnacle.
grail.
so far out there. Like
Yeah,
it seems like the labels are a lot more active at picking up younger artists in that kind of scene. Is that something you think is true?
yeah. I think it's true.
Mm,
There's loads of labels, happening. There's the major ones that have,
mm,
as a term of scale on SoundCloud. If you have a label that has more than 10,000 followers, it can be considered as a big label.
yeah.
Hmm.
Mm,
But I've released on 5 labels so far. Some that
mm,
were small, some that were big, and some that were,
yeah.
mid-scale. And it's funny because you can be an emerging producer, have no releases, and some big labels will answer you. They'll be like, "Oh, we're interested in your track," or they'll just tell you, "Oh, we're not interested, but please send your following tracks."
Mm.
Hmm.
And they're a big label, but some smaller ones won't respond at all. They won't even play your track as you send it as a demo.
Oh, that's so weird.
So you really have
Backwards
to,
then.
It does seem a
dig
bit
in
backwards.
and just
Maybe,
do
maybe the bigger
research.
labels are bigger because they're more taking on more new artists and taking more risks and stuff. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's quite cool that you've got the labels are like kind of their own little distribution service, and you can just use this. You get one really good song, this label wants to promote it, and then you get another good song, and that label will kind of promote it. And it seems like you get
Yeah.
more of a community sense that way.
There is, but
Mm.
it's funny because you have these big pages. They're on labels, but they're big pages that repost tracks and do premieres because
Mm.
premieres are a big thing in
Mm.
Hmm.
electronic music and techno because you'll release tracks on compilations and some tracks will get premieres on bigger labels or bigger pages to have more to be shown to more people
Hmm.
because sometimes the label's too small and you won't get as much visibility.
Of course, yeah.
And funnily enough, with my latest release, my track was not one of the tracks that was picked to be a premiere on the
Mm.
partnership labels, but it was the one that got the most plays,
Really?
even though it was, on a
Must have been
much
good. Which
smaller
track was
label. So
that?
it's really weird sometimes how it
Yeah.
works.
Which track was that? Can I just?
Toxic Dissonance.
Oh, that's the new one you got coming.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a new one.
Oh, wicked, man. Yeah. So this let's get onto this because this is your latest song. I think, obviously, my opinion, this doesn't matter too much because I don't know anything about the genre, but I think that's your best work so far.
Thank you.
It's a beautiful song. It's. Can you talk a bit about like the inspiration for that song and like how it all started?
So it started last summer.
Mm,
It was after I had released 2 tracks. I had started releasing again,
mm,
and I was more leaning towards the hard techno but melodic
Hmm.
side of techno. And I wanted to do something a bit more industrial with a faster BPM. And so I did as I always do. I start from the melody, then I build the kick around it, and I wanted
Oh, so
something.
you start with the melody and then you do the
Yeah,
kick. Oh, I thought it would have been the other way around. That's interesting. Yeah.
yeah. It's either I start with a kick or with
Mm,
the melody.
Hmm.
mm.
But to me, because the melody evolves and I usually don't have just one throughout the track, I like to layer
Yeah.
melodies, which is annoying to mix, but it's more fun
Yeah.
to listen to, I feel.
Oh, it's great, man. When you hear the melodies developing, because it's a long song, it's like six,
Yeah,
7 minutes or something, and then the melodies develop over time. And you feel like you're really taken on a journey with the songs.
yeah.
So
How do
cool.
you name like? Because in like singer-songwriter songs, right? They have like lyrics they pull off for like song titles. So do you go into a song with like a word that you try and make them sound around, or that's what always fascinates me. Like, how do you name a
It's
track
a
like that?
really good point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, because it's funny because in techno and bass music, loads of tracks will have as a title just the pre-drop sample,
Okay.
that's in the track.
Oh,
So
okay.
that's
Yeah.
already said and done. But the first tracks I released, the 4 previous ones, were either based on a feeling I was,
Mm.
experiencing at that time in my life,
Hmm.
or it was related to the di artistic direction of the label or the compilation it was released
Okay.
on.
Yeah.
Okay.
And for that one, I could not think about a track until the last moment before I sent the demo to the label. And so I just thought about the track. I thought, what does the track,
Mm.
give as a feeling? And I thought that because I had loads of breaks, loads of melodies, but that were detuned,
Yeah.
toxic dissonance would work out pretty well.
Yeah, I
Cool,
love
man.
the idea of having dissonance in it, and then it's so cool, man. It's great to
Thank
hear.
you.
Wicked, great tune. So, what's are you getting your songs played out there? Are they getting attraction from label? This one's on a label, right? As well, I'm
Yeah.
assuming.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So how
That's
does it
cool,
work?
man.
Do they go into clubs? Is it like how do you get
Yeah.
like success, right? So what is it like? You get confirmed your song's playing at this club, or is it like different? How does it work?
Yeah, it's a funny thing because you'll, as a producer, you can produce the track, finish it as a demo, have it ready, mixed and mastered. And what some people will do is that even before it's released, they'll just send it out to loads of DJs,
Hmm.
big
Mm.
DJs that play big events, and hope that the DJ will pick their track and either play in a mix or at an event.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And when you do that, you know that the DJs downloaded the track because you can see that in SoundCloud,
Oh
how
yeah, cool.
Oh right,
who
okay.
interacted. But the
Mm.
thing is, when you release on a label, you have no knowledge of that at all. You
Oh,
can only
okay.
see the plays, you can only see the likes and the reposts, but
Yeah.
you don't know who's listened to it, you know how many people have listened to it, but you don't know who has listened to it,
Oh,
who's
really?
downloaded the track. So if you're following loads of DJs and maybe the DJs you sent the track to, you might see that they played it,
Mm.
that it's in a post from an event they played at, but
Yeah.
otherwise you don't really
Oh,
have a
wow.
way of knowing.
So you won't know if it was played at like a big club or
No.
like you won't know.
Yeah,
Oh,
I think the only way would be, being registered um at the
yes.
national scale,
Hmm.
Yes.
I don't know which one it is in the UK, but the one where that gives you the royalties for the track.
Yeah.
PPL, PPS, those ones, yeah.
PRS, right?
Exactly, yeah.
PRS, yeah. PPL, PRS.
Yeah. For live
I guess
sessions,
that
PRS.
could be one way, but
Yeah.
when you're releasing on the label has all the knowledge.
Yeah.
Mm.
Oh, that's interesting actually. That's quite interesting because I can imagine like these big clubs in like Berlin and everything, they would love that stuff.
Yeah,
Then
it's what it's
it's
meant
weird
for.
that you must like be dying to like know where your music's being played.
Yeah, yeah, you want to hear it on a big sound system.
Yeah, I know. Oh, it'd be incredible. Have you ever heard your song on like a massive sound system before? Have you ever like
I have a tragic story
no?
where that could have happened. It was actually my first track.
Yeah,
The DJ who released it, Eccentric, and he was playing in Paris at a big event,
right.
and I was going to go to the event,
Yeah.
but we had built a team to go to the rave, with my friends and everything,
Mm.
but we did not end up going
Oh
at the
no.
last moment because of multiple reasons,
Yeah.
because some friends were sick or whatever. And the rave happened. It was
Yeah.
like 2,000, 3,000 people attending. And
No
I wake
way.
up the next day and the DJ sent me a message. He just said like, I played your track, where were you?
Oh
And I
Ah,
saw the
no.
message and I was like, no,
That is
I
gutting.
could
That's
have been in front of a big
heart-wrenching,
sound system.
man.
Yeah. Good thing though is he
He
was
played
playing
it.
at an event in Berlin.
Yeah.
I think it was 1 week or 2 weeks after, and he took a video of himself playing the track behind the
nice.
DJ
Really?
booth. Yeah, so I knew that he played in Berlin, so that was better.
That's cool. So
That
he
made up
did it.
for it.
He posted a video of himself playing your track.
No, I wish it was that, but he just, he was DJing, and
Yeah.
someone took a video of him DJing
Oh,
All
because he
right.
okay.
was playing the track. But yeah,
Yeah. Oh, that's so sick though. That's
still
really
made up for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. That's cool. That's good, man. So yeah, it sounds like that scene is like very, very competitive, getting your music played by DJs at the clubs and the raves. It's not like a massive, there's not loads of these venues, there's not loads and loads of these DJs. So it sounds like such a cutthroat industry, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, especially, the post-COVID era
Mm,
of all this
of
is even
course.
more competitive than it was before.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, the
Less and less
music's
people going on.
changed. The fact
Yeah.
that people see and learn about techno or even electronic music like hardcore, bass, and dubstep and all
Mm,
that on
mm,
social media, they see a 30-second, 1 minute extract maximum,
yeah.
and that will dictate how loads of producers will produce their tracks because they know they need that 30-second of
Mm,
intense build-up that,
Yeah.
showcases what the people want to hear. And that's why it's very competitive because lots of people only focus, they don't only focus, but the majority of their time and money is spent on developing the brand on social media. But
Mm.
they won't have many releases, and loads of DJs that are now have blown out, play at the biggest events. You didn't know them 3 years ago.
Yeah.
They came
Yeah.
out of nowhere, and they
Mm.
have 4 times the followers that some artists that have been in the scene for 20 years
Yeah.
have.
Yeah.
So it's, I'd say as an artist, it's tough because you have to stay strong mentally and stay
Massive.
focused on,
Yeah.
why you're composing music. Are
Yeah.
you passionate about the music, or
Oh yeah.
you just want numbers and money? Because
Mm.
you won't get much numbers and money if that's what you're counting on.
Yeah.
Because there's so many people doing it, to find your place, you either need to have a really good idea on the post you're doing for your promotional social media. And even then, if you have a good idea, you'll scroll on Reels and you'll see the 5 different people using the same
Yeah.
format,
Yeah.
which means that one of these 5 people, maybe two posts out of these 5 guys will make it and will become viral. But
Mm.
even then, you can have a track. I have a friend who's a hardcore DJ from Brussels, and he's got close to 9,000 followers, and he had a reel that had, it's got now, I think, 1 million plays, 1 million views as a reel, which is great, but that didn't get him to get booked to many gigs
Yeah.
and make, enough money, get booked to many gigs and just make enough royalties or whatever.
Mm.
Mm.
So it's just numbers. And if you only focus on the numbers, you're going to lose the passion real quick because
Yeah.
that's what should keep you going.
And you can always tell when you're listening to music
Yeah.
that if the person made it and they actually really loved it and enjoyed what
Yeah.
you heard about. And that's what you can always hear in new music. Seriously, man.
Is
Yeah.
there?
To be fair, it does take a while for me to
Yeah.
complete tracks.
Yeah. How
But
long
yeah.
roughly would it take you to finish a song? Like start. I know it's really different every time.
Well, funnily enough, the latest one I released, that I also think is my best work, was the one I
Mm.
finished in the shortest amount of time.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Do you think so that was your fourth or fifth release?
that's the fifth one.
Fifth release. Do you think the actual process is kind of getting more efficient?
Yeah,
Yeah, you
yeah,
kind of know
absolutely.
because you literally your first 5 songs you must learn so much making your first 5 songs. Do you have? I just thought of this now. Do you have like one big lesson or a few lessons that you learn going from your first song to your fifth song? Like, what would you wish you could tell yourself now when you were writing your first ever release?
Don't look at the plays,
Yeah, yeah,
because it's gonna change so much.
mm,
Because my first release is the one that has by far the most plays,
okay,
but it's really not the one I'm the most proud of.
yeah,
Because when
yeah,
I listen back on it now, I can
mm,
hear all the mistakes, I can hear all the mixing I could have done better. And the good thing about now I'm releasing more, but I was releasing maybe one track a year
mm,
from when I started. And because I was taking so long between releases, I was learning so much about production and mixing and mastering on the side that
mm,
every new track is of much better quality.
yeah,
Mhm.
And I'd say, yeah, the main advice is not to rush into it.
cool,
Be solid on the basic skills,
mm,
of production. Be solid on knowing what you want to do with your project, what you want to showcase, what you want
yeah,
to show as a brand, who you want to be as an artist. If you haven't answered, all these questions before you start releasing, then you're gonna hit a wall at some point.
yeah,
Yeah.
totally,
And loads of artists, they see people growing real quick on social media, making them a name for themselves in the scene. And
mm,
so they want to reach that
yeah.
really quickly. But once they start producing, they realize it takes a couple of years to get good at production. And once you're good at production, you're not good at managing your social media or reaching out to labels.
So many different,
Yeah.
really important skills that take
Yeah,
a long time to learn because you're doing this all on your own. You're not in a band or
Yeah.
anything.
There's only
yeah.
yeah.
That must be a lot of work, man.
It's a lot
It's
of
like,
work. I mean, it's why maybe I don't spend as much time on the promotion and more time on
mm,
the music.
yeah,
But I'm still doing a couple of posts. I've
yeah,
made my first self-made promotional video, which
cool.
I don't show my face in, but it's, a reel
Oh,
that'll be able to be posted as an ad.
Yeah, that's
which
cool. Yeah, that's
yeah.
Is
wicked.
that a big thing? Like showing your like, is that another? That's another weird question, right? Do you need to have like that personal element to it? Does your face need to be on the social media, or is that not a big thing in the industry?
Yeah. I mean, funnily enough, some people will get lots of attraction on their posts and reels with, you know, meme templates that are working really well.
Yeah, yeah,
But if that's already been done countless of times, people will get tired of seeing the same thing. So
Yeah,
showing your face definitely works better with the algorithm. The
yeah.
algorithm doesn't reward you not showing your face. It wants people to showcase themselves. And I see DJs in their stories, just being like showing my face because I know that otherwise people won't see it. And even in my posts, like if I post the cover to tease a new release, I'll get a couple of likes. But if I post my face
yeah.
and then a description announcing the release that's coming up, it's going to get 3 times more
Personal
interactions
element
and
to it.
visibility.
Mm,
So
so
you
true.
have to show your face, unfortunately.
I'd wear, I'd wear a
Unfortunately, well,
mask.
you got a pretty handsome looking face, Alex.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I
But it's
wouldn't
just,
say that, but we're really excited to hear about everything that's going on. Thank you. What is there anything that's coming up in the future that you can kind of maybe drop a little hint
Yeah,
of
what's
what's
the
going on
plans?
now?
What's the plans?
what's the plans?
The
Well,
plans.
I have two new tracks that are finished and I'm going to
Ooh,
start sending to labels.
Exclusive.
really? So you
Exclusive.
got two
Yeah,
already done like that are going out now. Oh, that's cool actually, because that's like you could double your amount of songs you got out this year.
exactly. Well,
That'd be
funnily enough,
wicked.
these two I had finished before the latest release
Okay.
that came out.
Hmm.
But the thing is, the label answered like weeks after I thought the release was
Mm.
not happening anymore. And they answered like at the last moment saying, "Oh yeah, the release is still happening on the compilation." So I had to rush in and finish that track because I was sure it was going to get released before the next two ones. So the next releases will be more in the spirit of the ones I released before, so more melodic,
Hmm.
not as
Wicked.
industrial,
Love
but
it.
my plan's still to go down the industrial route and even maybe explore hardcore releases
Yeah.
after that throughout the end of the year and even maybe summer.
Just keep experimenting, man. I'd love to hear everything that you come
Yeah.
up, you know.
Maybe a
Really.
remix of Mash or
Yeah.
something
Yeah,
like that.
true, true.
I have
Could happen.
I have a big question. We have a playlist called the Shout Out Podcast playlist.
Mm.
We get you to add one song of your own to the playlist, and then a song from another artist that you like. It can be like a smaller artist, it can be a big artist, but it's basically then everyone who's been on a big
Mm.
compilation of the music they've released and the music they like.
Okay.
What two songs would you like to add to the playlist?
How
One
hard
yours.
can I go?
You can do literally add anything. Like, there's a lot. There's a wide range of genres on the playlist already. So
There's a lot of
Okay.
stuff. Go as hard as you want.
Where should I send the name? Should I just tell you the name?
I'll add it in yeah now. You know, so
Yeah, yeah.
choose
Just
one
tell
of
us the
your
name.
songs. It's on Spotify, which is the only annoying
Okay.
thing. So if it's on SoundCloud, we won't be able to add it in. But I can add a Spotify one in.
Yeah. Well, I'd say on the Spotify one, my latest release, Toxic Dissonance. Oh wait, well it's not on Spotify yet.
Well, we can
Now
wait
on
for that one to be
SoundCloud.
on Spotify and add it in
Yeah.
if you want.
Yeah, yeah,
We
yeah,
can
yeah.
wait.
Is there a
Yeah.
date?
Unfortunately, I don't have a date.
Okay.
We'll get a date. We'll get
It
a
came
date.
When I
out on
see it,
SoundCloud and it was supposed to come out on streaming platforms last week, but it's been postponed for some reason.
Oh, okay.
when it's out,
But
I'll add it
so
in.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mm.
I'll let you know, guys know when it's
Yeah,
out.
let us know. Let us know. We'll
Yeah,
get
yeah.
that one. And now another song that you like. It could be anything.
So the one that's giving me the biggest slap in the face in the last couple of years. So one song or two songs because I have two, but
Have two.
um, have
I'll
two.
add another random one of your songs on
Okay.
there. So I have two selections.
Mm.
Okay, so the first one is Animals in a Cage
Animals in a cage.
Animals.
by the artist is called Fluke from Berlin, so it's
I've got it.
Flucc.
That is some interesting artwork. That's cool.
Let me look.
Yeah, it's good to, do a run
Yeah.
Yeah,
or just wake your neighbors and.
nice. That's the artwork if you can't see it, Dan.
Oh my God, that's it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Wait, what Fluke? What is he? Is he French? Is he? Or where's he
He's
from?
from Berlin.
Berlin. Oh, cool, cool, cool. Nice
Yeah,
one.
really nice artist, really insane production.
Yeah, let's
Does
check him
loads of
out.
subgenres of hard techno, hardcore music, breakcore, that sort of stuff. And production wise, it's definitely an inspiration.
Yeah, wicked.
Nice. Shout out Fluke.
Shout
Shout
out for
out Luke.
Yes. Good man.
Yeah.
And then for your
And the
second
second
song,
one, yeah, so he's a French producer called Rabbit, so Rabbeat. So
yep.
it's like rabbit, but yeah, with the
Okay,
beat.
I've got
And so
him.
the
Yeah.
track is The Punch.
The punch. Let me find the punch. Yep, I've got it. There's two
is it
versions
quite
of
a
it.
punchy tune?
Yeah, oh, it's definitely a punch tune, yeah.
Let's add it
Funny
in.
that.
That goes into the playlist.
Wicked.
Any reason for
Oh,
that song?
and you what?
Any reason you like that song? Is it?
Other than the fact that it's
Well,
French.
both of them. Well, funnily enough, the first one, the so Animals in the Cage by Fluke, it's probably my most listened to
Okay.
track of last year.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Also because I did some studies in electronic music composition and I analyzed that track for my thesis,
Oh,
and my
Nice.
cool.
master's degree, and I analyzed the rhythmic patterns and all that stuff, and it
Mm,
was so interesting.
mm.
Quite a headache as well, quite a nightmare because
I
there's
bet you, because you must have had to listen to that like
yeah.
countless.
But even after like 200 times, I'm still
Oh,
impressed.
you're
Yeah,
in your sleep, man.
exactly. But yeah,
Oh,
the quality
mate.
of production
Yeah.
and also the fact that yeah, I mean they don't have the most plays, but for me they're
Mm,
definitely two of the best releases I've heard in the last 2 years.
very good. Well, we can't wait to listen to them as well. Thank you. Or I should have. Thank you, my friend. Never mind. Thank you so much for coming on, Alexis. This has been a great chat. We learned so
Their
much
pleasure
about the
too.
different genre of music and everything you're doing. We're really excited for everything you've got coming up this year. And
Thank
thank
you.
you for listening to this episode of the Shout Out Podcast with Danny B and Mr. Dan Wood. Thank you so much. This has been a great episode. We've got loads more coming up, so stay tuned. From everyone at the Shout Out, au revoir.
Merci beaucoup.
Wow.
Ah, that's it.
Oh.